Because one of the complexities I would say in this line of business is the cash flow. There's so much cash flow being generated. There's the compounding effect as well that sometimes people don't understand. Since you're always redeploying your capital, it can be confusing to understand, okay, am I making money or not as an investor? So let's talk about an investor. An investor comes into the business. Let's say they're going to fund $100,000 a month and they have a factor, there's some terms, and they have some costs, servicing fees, broker's fees, etc. And normally we model this in a way that you are going to collect a certain amount of the RTR. So normally an investor is going to invest. At a certain point, they're going to get their maximum equity invested. And then if everything works, and this is idealistic, this is not the real, how it really works, sure, you're going to start making money or recovering what you invested. That's the case of an investor investing at perpetuity always. But that's not the way it normally happens. Normally it happens that an investor stays within a point in time, and then they cease to invest. They cease to redeploy capital. At a certain point, they want to realize the case. And then on a cash flow perspective, they start recovering everything. And eventually they're going to go above break even. And then they retire all of their capital with a gain. That's the ideal scenario. But they have to be very mindful in which stage they are. That's not easy to really see it when you're always deploying capital.
This could be years later. So that's why it's kind of hard to kind of figure out, exactly, part of why it's hard to figure out where you are. Yes. Okay.
So here what happens, in this case, we're just showing the effect of RTR collected. So in this case, we have a break-even point because of the characteristics of the deal, how much it costs for the investor to invest, etc. That they have a break-even point of 84.7%. That's the scenario. And in this case, the RTR collected was 95%. So that's the blue line. They have 7.6 months of equity inflow. So they're putting capital during 7.6 months. And then they start recovering part of it. At a certain point, they stop investing, they start redeploying, and then they collect. Great. Now what happens if you're only a little bit above break-even? So the general performance is that you're collecting only to 85%. You're not going to deploy more capital. You're going to be reinvesting, but you're going to be on a flat line. And then again, you stop funding, but then you recover only a little bit above. The green line is the opposite. You never stop putting money. And then when you want to stop, you never reach the break-even, so you never recover. And that's why you need to understand what's happening with your portfolio. Every once in a while, you need to, let's say, put the brakes and take a look at it. And the problem is that normally people tend to do what we call it the dynamic pool analysis. They see the cash flow coming in, they take some back of the napkin calculations, but then when you dig deeper into what we call a static pool analysis and you characterize each month, how those pools perform, you can start taking certain indicators that allow you to project and say, okay, this is looking good or not. But then again, all of this is manageable. It's not something that you put the money in and then there's nothing else to do. That you always can take decisions, and that's where we try to help.